For whatever reason lately, I've been getting a ton of questions about rack pulls. So instead of writing a long post in the comments, all that, I'll answer it directly here with a video. I had to put together a couple notes, got to do this in one take, so I apologize if it's sloppy. In 2010, an article I did for Elite FTS, I said, rack pulls are generally better for hypertrophy and overall limit strength, but rarely get the desired transference of deadlift. They allow you to pull a shorter range of motion with optimal leverage. Most of the time when you miss a deadlift, your position sucks. So I haven't changed a whole lot since then. Let me go back in history a little bit. So when I was in high school, one of my first jobs was a hardcore gym. We had all sorts of elite bodybuilders and powerlifters that had come in there. And anyways, there was this one fool, midlife crisis kind of guy, bleached his hair blonde, left his wife, his family, bought a sports car, and he kept trying to make a move on this exotic dancer turned rent-a-cop, and I guess she, got forced out of the field, or not forced, but, time wasn't kind, had to, switch occupations. It didn't go well either. So this guy was not, too charismatic, total, just off in the head a little bit. Well, anyways, what he was doing is he kept working his rack pull up. He got to 900 pounds or so on a rack pull. There's like 9 plates, like 855, and a little bit of change on there. So around 900 pounds. He could not deadlift 600 pounds off the floor. So at a young age, at 16 years old, I saw this was a lot of times just an ego lift. It was, I'd say I would call it a circle jerk. The difference, it was not a circle jerk though, because no one else was getting stimulated. This was just for himself. His mental masturbation is probably a better term. I like that. That's a pretty good term right there. But anyways, so rack pulls, most guys, what they do happen is they miss a deadlift. They turn the rack pull into, a quarter squat with a bar in your hands. So the bar's in your hand, turns it even like a leg press almost. And that's not gonna be where you miss a deadlift. So in strongman, there is a little potential there, because think about it. You can wear straps, so if you get stuck right here, you don't have to worry about the grip. You can kind of rest on your thighs, use your straps and hold it there for a while and quarter squat the weight up. In powerlifting, you can't hitch, so that will not cut the mustard. That's not gonna be the position you're going to be in. So how does it, lack transference? Because you're not going to miss in that spot. If you have a specific technical weakness, you're not correcting that technical weakness by doing quarter squats with the bar in your hand. So your deadlift is, lacking. Your deadlift doesn't have, optimal or even okay or proper technique. So you start quarter squatting bars in your hand, that's going to improve it? I don't think so. If a specific weakness is limiting you, like muscularly, you're not going to improve it by quarter squatting bar in your hand. So the transference is not there, okay? So if, I like for I like generally like rack pulls, actually block pulls. The flex of the bar is similar off the blocks rather than the rack. That's a different conversation, have them lower to the ground. And we can do something about that another time, but right now we'll stick to rack pulls, we'll stay on target. Isometrics against the pins, bands, chains, things like, that are gonna be the way, and that's a different conversation. So I am also not an anti-rack pullite either. Rack pulls do have some benefits. So just to show you, I don't hate all rack pulls. I typed out a few this morning. Rack pulls are an effective exercise for, increasing, your grip and overloading your pull. So if you don't wear straps, what more specific way, block, we'll stay away from block, but a partial deadlift with a bar in your hand is going to work your grip, obviously. So if you actually mimic, so like some of the old school guys, instead of doing regular rack pulls, they would do rounded back rack pulls. That's so they miss. So if you actually mimic the position you miss in, there is a case where you could make, some transference and helping your lockout. Okay, rack pulls in general put less stress on your lumbar spine. So, this can be helpful to somebody who has a bad lower back, somebody with limited mobility, injuries, pain, things of that nature. So that would be a good thing. The shorter range of motion, for training extreme kind of muscle building techniques and shock methods, things like that, that shorter range of motion is going to be safer, and rack pulls are a great, it can also be, again, we'll say rack pulls, partial deadlifts, I do it off blocks, but we'll call them rack pulls still, because that's the questions I've been getting, are a great way. So if you want to teach someone to get a proper position to deadlift, they may not be able to do it off the floor, but they can do it off the, from the knee or right, and start working their way down. so there's that kind of way you can do it too. They're really good for hypertrophy. So one time Ode Hagen and I did or he didn't do the contest, he trained me for it. And one of the events in the strongman contest was a rack pull, and it was a really short range of motion. Like, I don't remember what the distance was. It was well above the knees, and my upper back got so crazy jacked, and we weren't doing a whole lot of other back volume like normal, like pull downs and rows and things like that. We were doing those like very regularly, and it was amazing after a while how well we recovered. If we had been deadlifting that heavy every single week, even like of a relative percentage, we would not have recovered that well. So it was better for recovery. It's scalable to height. If somebody's 7'4", like them deadlifting compared to you might be like a 6-inch deficit deadlift. So you would be scalable to height. If you're saving time at the gym, I hate to try to keep this real serious here, but like seriously, if you're real limited on time, you're not training for a powerlifting meet. Just even if you do a couple inches off the ground in a rack, it's easier to pull plates on and off. If you're alone, that saves you a little bit of time. So I'm not anti-rack pull. I just think in a powerlifting specific context, there's better ways to work your lockout. So thank you for the question. I've been getting this a bunch lately. So here's to improving your deadlift and finding alternatives to rack pulls.